You've got a problem, change your fucking car.
It's lights out and away we go!
Hi guys, it's Ams from On the Drive, and today we are with Esha Patel for our book club. So Esha wrote Offtrack, which was the first book of our book club for June. First thing first, Esha, hi, how are you?
Hi, so I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here. So I'm like 10 times better already. It's kind of cloudy outside, but it's good. I'm really excited to talk. And I've known Ams for a while, so this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yes,
Can't wait to get started.
yes, Esha's been my bestie for like a year. So yeah, okay, first thing first, because I know, but our listener and viewers don't. Who are your 5 drivers and team?
Okay, so oh, gosh, it's been a weird like season so far. My
Mhm.
favorite driver still. I'm still going to say I'm going to be a Carlos Sainz fan first and foremost. Always, always, always. Currently a Ferrari fan. Haven't been super happy with things lately. But the way it's going, there are rumors that Carlos might go to Williams. So who knows? Maybe I need to get Williams merch. I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen that it's either Williams or Alpine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
Any,
okay. Later problem.
anyway, um, okay. So talk us through your writing career a bit.
Yeah. So I like that's kind of like a crazy word to put to it because I don't think I've ever actually thought of it as a career, but now I'm like, ooh, okay. So it kind of started like I started writing at like a very young age. I didn't actually like start coming up with plots and storylines until I was in about like sixth grade, but I would write like a lot of stuff like here and there. A bunch of people who knew me like elementary school would be like, "Oh, you're always carrying around like all these notebooks." Like I would write everything on paper, like everything until maybe like a year ago when I had to like move to electronic because the paper was becoming a lot. But I would write and write from the sixth grade onward. I started writing like a bunch of like fantasy stuff and like I was kind of just like playing around. But around like pandemic times, I was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to actually write a book? So I like actually made a plot. I still kind of fly by the seat of my pants when I write, but I made a plot and I was like putting like characters to this, like developing my characters fully, doing all this stuff, released my first book. I believe it was in 2021, which is like right during all the pandemic stuff. And then kind of after that, I just like started rolling. I don't think I've really like stopped since. But Off Track was my fifth book. I can't even
Yeah.
keep track. And I think that's when I like truly have started thinking of it as like a hustle because like you have to like hack the whole marketing game,
Yeah.
figure out how to like get people like hooked onto this thing that you've written in a way that like speaks to the market as it is. So that's like I feel like that's where like the whole hustle comes in. Especially because I started like indie, like I then got picked up traditional. And I'm still like doing like a decent amount of like marketing and stuff like that for
Mhm.
myself. So it's still kind of like a full-time like hustle. But I would say that's kind of like where I started and how I've ended up here. Don't know exactly where we're set to go in the next couple of years. Just kind of like figuring it out as I go
Yeah.
because I'm also like a full-time student. Um, but yeah, I love it here. I'm
Wait.
definitely not leaving
You
anytime
froze.
soon.
Yeah, you were saying full-time student. Sorry.
No, you're all good. I just like was kind of talking about how I'm not completely like sure as to, like what the pace will be for me for the next couple of years, but
Yeah.
not planning on like leaving writing anytime soon at all.
Yeah. So like right now the plan is second book soon.
Yes, that's super exciting. I've been really excited for the second one, might I say. Honestly, like round two has me like on my toes, if not even more excited to give you guys this than I was off track, which is like
Oh
because
wow.
off track was, like kind of a whole like first foray into the world of
Mhm.
Formula One. But this one is like it's very like near and dear, personal, cutesy, wholesome. So I'm really excited to just give you
I
guys the book
I
baby.
wait. What made you want to write F1 romance?
Yeah, so the F1 aspect, I got into Formula One 2 years ago. It's been a little over 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still kind of like some people say I'm new to it, but like it's been about 2 years. I started by watching Drive to Survive, which people will hate on Drive to Survive, but it was my way into the sport. So I support it in this instance. And I think that just for the purpose of there being like all of this like there's like so much like drama and like
Yeah.
all the glitz and glamour and money and just all of this like chaos attached to the sport. There's only 20 people, and I like reiterate this a lot when I'm talking about like why I got an F1 romance, but like 20 people at like the very top of their game. It's just like literally chaos and competition everywhere. It's like it's the perfect place to set a like very like fast-paced, snappy romance. I mean, also just throwing a lot of other drama. So for me, like just that backdrop was so perfect to put a romance against, and not only that, but also something where a woman is breaking the glass ceiling that has been broken before, but a really, really long time ago. So it's been a hot minute. So I was like, this would be a really interesting place to explore like a woman's place in sport and how that's like evolved and how it needs to evolve, but also throw romance in because there's just so much action. And like also like the cars, like everything is so pretty. It's like it's beautiful. The racing, the overtakes, everything. It's just a very pretty place to put a story. And then obviously just my fascination with the sport. I got into it and was immediately like, we need to write about this.
Yeah.
So
No, I get it. I get it. I mean, as soon as I got into F1, I could not stop thinking about it, and it's been 2 years, and I cannot stop
yes.
thinking about it any time of the day. So I fully understand wanting to write books about it.
It's a
And
personality trait.
oh, yeah, at this point, yeah. Also, I just wanted to say I love how much you put the women and how badass they are in your books, because there are women with important places. We have Paola, who's an engineer, and Diana, who's a driver, and they're so badass and so cool, and we need that more in Formula One. So even if it's just in book,
Yes.
I will take it. We know that today readers very much love spicy scenes. Why did you make the choice of having a closed door books? So for the people who don't know, closed door means no spicy scene.
Mhm. Yeah, so Offtrack is like primarily closed door, save for like maybe one or two scenes. It's not heavy on the spice. I would say it's like a 1 or 2 out of 5. Like it's not really anything, and there's like a couple of reasons for that. I would say first and foremost, it's just kind of like what I'm comfortable with. I feel like I don't really like push myself out of my comfort zone in terms of like that kind of stuff too often. Like if I feel like I really need to do it for the sake of the plot, I'm like, this means something to me and I'm going to like, put forth the effort to write it. But for me, I'm a very like plot-based person, and if it doesn't need, I guess, to
Mm-hmm.
happen, to further the plot, it's like
Yeah.
different for me. And then I just kind of like grew up watching Bollywood movies, and if any of you guys like know Bollywood or familiar with that, it's just now starting to like tiptoe into the open door world. So I'm kind of like used to these stories that are like very much closed door. That's just kind of like where my brain is at. That's just what I'm
Yeah.
comfortable with. And I believe it's possible to have a really wholesome love story without writing like open door stuff, but that's just like my preference. Like I'm not out to yuck anybody's yum. Like if
Mm-hmm.
that's what you enjoy reading, like I completely get it. I think like for me it also helps because I can make my books accessible to different
Yeah.
audiences, because there is like empowerment of women. There is demonstration of what healthy love and unhealthy love looks like, what love should not look like, and I feel like those kinds of things, it's important to me that it's accessible to people of all ages, or at least people like 16 and over,
Yeah.
because the scenes that I usually write aren't like too graphic or anything like that. I like to consider, kind of like, what does that do to the relationship? What does that give the characters? Like, where am I taking the plot by writing this scene? And for me, like, that's always like a practical question to answer. So I feel like that's kind of just some of the reasons
Yeah.
I tend to go closed door, but I don't believe in any way that it's superior to open door romance.
Yeah. No.
I
No.
think that open door romance is a wonderful genre for those who are comfortable reading it. I think it just has to do with comfort level for the most part.
No, I fully agree with that. Like everyone has their preference about spicy scenes and not spicy scenes. Like to me personally, it really
Exactly.
depends on my mood. I can
Mhm.
be in a mood where I just want to read spicy scenes, and a mood where I just want a closed door books. And
Right.
yeah, I do agree that we need something for everyone, and so it's
Hmm.
good to have very very spicy books and not so spicy ones.
Right. It's a
You were
scale. Mhm.
you were talking about Bollywood, and I wanted to ask, how do you go about portraying your personal background in your books?
Yeah, so in Off Track, and I actually have like Off Track here, there is a scene, it's like towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
Diana and Miguel go to Dubai, and
Yeah,
I actually remember taking a trip there in like the seventh grade. I've never lived there though, so I don't know all too much about it. And again, it was the seventh grade, so I don't remember it too well. But they're big on Bollywood there, and I like little like did a little weave in of like the Pani Puri scene, which is like a traditional like street food in India, also very popular in Dubai, partially because there's so many like Indian expats living
yeah,
there, and then on top of that, like tourists and tourists and tourists. So it's like popular with them. So that was my little like weave in, I would say. With Off Track, I'm just so much weaving in of my own like personal heritage, as much of just like the experience of being like a brown woman
mm-hmm.
within Diana, who is also, you know, kind of like grappling with her role in Formula One and
Yeah,
that identity she has. I feel like that was the major weave in with Off Track. It was more the experience than like the physical,
yeah,
tangible aspects of what it means to come from like a certain culture, I guess. Whereas with Overdrive, this one's kind of exciting because Chantal's not like from India. Her family is Guyanese, Indo-Guyanese. So it's a little bit of that culture there that, you know, is shared, but I also kind of got to explore something different that I feel like is constantly overlooked among people who are from India, like tend to forget that the Indo-Caribbean culture exists. So it's an interesting kind of like meld of cultures that I get to explore. Just like sprinkle a little bit of myself in there, like a couple of Bollywood movies, songs, like kitschy little references like that. Obviously, I can't live without it.
yeah.
But I would say it's always like interesting to take what I have and like explore new things and throw them in there. It's like a little melting pot, so a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I do think that when we're writing, you can't write without putting a bit of yourself in everything you
Mm.
write. So it makes sense that you're mixing things from yourself with other things and just exploring it all, and it's very nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Um, Off Track was your first. No, one, two, three. Off Track was first published as an indie book, so by yourself, and then was picked up by a traditional publisher. What? How did it work? What was the process, and how did it feel like to you to be published traditionally?
Oh my gosh. I remember getting the email in my chemistry lecture. I was like, girl, what? I I'm not even kidding. Like I was like lecture. It was the fall of like 2023. I'm
Yeah,
here like stressing over like I don't even remember what it was that we were doing. It was something really horrific, and I don't even want to say the name of it because Principles of Chemistry destroyed me. But I'm sitting here like stressing, and I get an email from Amy,
yeah,
who's now my editor, like asking if we can hop on a call and talk more about Off Track. And I do some deep digging, and I'm like, this
yeah.
is literally like a publishing house,
Oh
and
my god.
I literally just about peed myself. I was like, oh my God. And then I had
I,
to sit through like 50 minutes of lecture, like jaw on the floor. Um, I would say definitely really, really shocked, surprised at first, like just like totally like
yeah.
because this was also while I was at school. So I've done like a lot of my like book situation stuff with my family around me.
Hmm.
So this was a new one. I was like, it's like me and my close friends at school. And so
Yeah,
like they're the first people I told, like, oh my God, like this just happened. And I hopped on the call, and it's just like it was like entering like this entirely new world, but
yeah,
in such a good way. Like I didn't know about a lot of this stuff, like completely like just like out of my realm of knowledge. So I was fortunate to like have people in the Bookstagram community like around me who knew what was going on, because then I can reach out to those people, get some really good advice. Whether it's like legal stuff, like contract stuff, or
mhm,
just knowledge on what it's like going traditional, you know, that kind of stuff. So that was super, super helpful. Because it was an exciting process, but it was also a really big step. Because at the end, of the day, like, you're selling your rights
Yeah.
to your work. So it's like very emotional in that regard. But for me, like, Avon has been like super, super supportive. Like, everyone in the team is like on it, like covers, interior, like editing, everyone. Even like down to like marketing. Marketing
Mhm.
has been like clutch with like the Amazon sales and everything.
Yeah.
So it's so cool to have like this team of people like working towards the same thing that you're working towards. So I will say, like, having a little bit of the edge off of yourself is really nice because I don't have to worry about doing a lot of this stuff, right, that I did when I was indie. So definitely it's been like a transition of roles, but a really positive one. And I'm excited to go for round two because this is now I can say this isn't my first rodeo. So
Yeah.
just so excited to go for the second one.
I think I'll forever remember when you were teasing Overdrive, and suddenly you're like, no, it's not gonna be out in December anymore, but I can't say why. And
It's like
I was just like, girl, girl.
I know I like caused everyone a lot of pain when I first found out because I couldn't say anything. So it
I
was like
remember.
sorry. Offtrack has been taken out, like book two's release is delayed, like boom 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 boom, and then I hope this paid off though. I hope it was worth the agony.
Of course it was. I mean, I'm in London next week, and I'm gonna like hop in like Waterstones and try to find Offtrack.
Thank you. Doing the real work because I'm not going to London anytime soon. So I'm like, thank
I'll
you.
speak for you if I find it.
Oh yay.
Why did you decide to mix literature and sports, like
Ooh.
a sports romance book?
Yeah. So why sports romance in general?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This is a really fun question. Um, I did not start out with sports romance. I started out watching a ton of medical and first response dramas and being like, this is all I want to write about.
I still need to read because I'm obsessed with this TV show, so I need to read these books of yours too.
Oh my gosh. A little like quick little plug from Ams and me. If you like Station 19, Grey's Anatomy, like all those shows, like
I I
give
I
my first four a shot.
I'm gonna read them this summer.
She said I'm gonna dabble on them. But yes, you should. Anywho, that's where I was like, I'm just gonna live in that genre forever. I didn't really think about moving into another genre until the Formula One situation when I started watching F1.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, looked a little bit more into this community, found out like some other authors are doing some really amazing things. So I would say very much peer inspired. If I hadn't read, sports romances, gotten into,
Yeah.
what they're all about to begin with, seen like other Formula One authors doing their thing, I don't think I would have been as driven to enter the community as I was like when I did Off Track. And I think part of that is just because everybody's like so appreciative, supportive, and like willing to give advice.
Mm-hmm.
And just, if you reach out, like people will answer. I feel like that is one of the reasons that I felt like good going into this. And part of me didn't really know how great that community was until after I published and started marketing, and people were just like the best, like awesome, like you. They were awesome. So
Love you.
just super exciting all around. And I feel like that community is one of the reasons I was pushed to sports romance. And also just that I am able to portray like powerful women
Yeah.
breaking boundaries in this genre in particular, because people still think of sports and they think of men. It's
Mm-hmm.
men who sit on the couch and watch sports at night after getting
Yeah.
home from work, and it's women who are making the food. Like that traditional mindset, that kind of thing, it just rips at my skin. Like I can't do it. And for me, sports romance is an outlet for me to express um, that glass ceiling that I want so badly to be broken, and that so many other people want so badly to be broken. Like it's becoming a bigger thing that we are pushing to get women into motorsports, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
so excited for it. So like Diana's character, Paula's character, and especially with Diana, like using sports romance to portray like the duality of both being like scared and apprehensive and not knowing what's going on because this is new to you, but also like being fierce and going all in and just battling for the championship. Like that
Yeah.
duality is my favorite things about exploring characters in sports romances. Just a couple of little highlights there.
That's a very good, like a very interesting answer. Like I really like all the different points, and I definitely agree that it's very nice that we as women also can like not get more interested in sports, because I think we already are, but also be out there like, yes, I like sports, and it being fine, and have the example in books and in whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, to finish off, we're gonna play a game. We're gonna play 2 rounds of a game. It is kind of like Kiss, Marry, Kill, but instead of Kiss, Marry, Kill, it's Podium DNF Driver of the Day.
Oh, love
Okay,
it, love it.
good luck. So
Oh God.
first round is Andrea, Alex, Darian.
Ooh. Okay. Andrea makes a character turnaround. He does a little like turnaround at the end of Offtrack. However, I still think I am going to give him the DNF. He deserves it. He deserves to be humbled. Humble that man. Humble that man. Because he was insufferable at the start of the book.
That's true.
Girl, like, and I can't do that to Alex and Darian. Can't do it. Okay, Alex and Darian. Ooh, girl, you had to give me a hard one too. They're both such precious little characters. Alex is like our baby of the grid. Think like Lando when he first came into Formula One, a little 18-year-old. But let me see. Okay. For the sake of Overdrive, and you'll find out why when Overdrive comes out.
Okay.
Darian needs the podium, so I'm gonna give him the podium. I'm gonna give Alex the driver of the day.
Okay.
And I'm also going to rationalize it to myself by saying that Alex doesn't yet have a good enough car to make it onto the podium. So we're gonna give him driver of the day.
Next season he'll get a podium.
Exactly.
Okay, and the second one, you're gonna hate me. Second one and last one is Miguel, Diana, and Paula.
Oh my God. Girl, what? Okay.
You can do it.
I'm cooking.
You.
Oh. Paula, Miguel, and Diana. Just like that. So easy, so simple.
Right?
Oh my God.
I mean, I put Paula on the podium, but we all know that it's because she's my favorite, so I'm not really objective.
This is fair. I think I'm honestly, I'm gonna agree with you. I'm putting Paula on the podium because Miguel and Diana have they've had their time to shine. If you've read Offtrack, they've both had their time to shine. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But then I have to give Diana driver of the day. I'm gonna give Miguel the DNF. I don't even know why. I can't even give you a rational reason. I mean, because
I tricked you.
you did, because the girlies are just superior.
Yeah,
I think it's
it would be cruel.
Exactly. It's a decision of exclusion, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
There's one man that's the one who's DNFing. It's fine. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he's been in there for the longest, so he can afford to take a DNF.
That's true. Anyway, it was so much fun to have you. Thank you so much. And
being on here.
Thank you for being with us. And for all listeners, I'll see you later. Bye.
Bye. Thank you again.
You've got a problem, change your fucking car.
It's lights out and away we go!